say like she said and leave. Betsy, that was amazing. Thank you. All my friends and neighbors in the 13th Ward, which is mine, thank you for sending Betsy down to City Hall. She's doing amazing work. She's fun to work with. She's grounded. She's a blast, and she's really effective. So thank you for doing it. I'm going to say nice things about everything, but since we're here, and I spent a lot of time in North Minneapolis, but since we're here, it's pretty darn cool to be able to be represented by Betsy Hodges and Frank Hornstein and Scott Dibble and Gail Dorfman, and I think we do a pretty damn good job of electing people. Betsy said it all, so I'm going to say just a couple of words, but I would like us to also thank the people who've celebrated most of the birthdays that Keith has been around for. His amazing family, who's one of the most grounded families who are giving up phenomenal amounts of their time and their life with their dad and time they could be doing other things. You guys are truly inspirational to families in politics and everywhere else. To the whole Ellison family, I think we ought to give them. Betsy did a phenomenal job of talking about Keith, and I want to just give a very quick example of how that is put into practice. Thursday morning, I was on the phone with Min Ta, who is Keith's legislative director out of Washington. And we were having a little bit of a problem. We've had a problem for a long time. I can't go into all the details, but basically the issue is this. There was a real scam artist who got control of a whole bunch of properties in North Minneapolis. We took them to court. We took them to court because they were ruining neighborhoods. And we won in court, but the problem is there's a bank. I'm not going to mention exactly yet, but we may very soon. It still has control of some of those properties, and they weren't letting go. So I called the mayor of the city that bank is in, and we got a little bit of progress, but not enough. So we talked to Keith's office, and Keith is going to call the congressman from that city, and we're going to put a lot of pressure on that bank from somewhere else that thinks that the people in Minneapolis don't care. Now, a lot of people can walk through channels and do all of that, but I know something different. Because I know that when Keith talks to that congressman, he is not just talking for Keith Ellison to another congressman. He's doing exactly what Betsy said, because Keith has lived it, he knows the neighborhoods, he's door knocked there. He's brought people from Washington there, but he understands people. And he understands exactly what happens when a home gets foreclosed on a block where somebody had saved up all their life to get that home, and suddenly the equity starts to go and the neighborhood starts to go. And that's the voice of yours that winds up getting translated to power. Speak truth to power is exactly what Keith Ellison does all the time. And the problem often gets to be that when the person speaking truth to power does that enough, they think they are the power and they forget the truth. Okay? That is a problem with Washington. And that's one of the biggest problems with Washington. And let us count the ways that we've seen that happen. All right? That is not going to happen with our friend Keith Ellison, and we know that, and we knew that from the day we sent him there, but we know even more because this amazing person from our neighborhoods, from our communities, can literally go around the world and talk about having peace be a value that we should govern with, and the values that we've seen him do here at home with us and our friends are literally being translated around the world. What a phenomenal gift that we have given by giving Keith to the rest of the world. That is a huge thing. Now, I would not say all this if I thought your head was going to get too big. But it is one of those things that is our responsibility to keep filling the tank, okay? So what that means is two things. We have to continue to work hard for Keith, not only get him elected, but to do what he and Larry and everyone is smart enough to do, is to say that this election is really about turning out this incredible base of people in support. And just about a month ago, I was in a meeting with Barack Obama, who said, we are not going to be able to be campaigning in the city of Minneapolis, RT. If I come to Minnesota, we're going to be somewhere else, because you guys are going to have to turn out the base. And that's exactly what the Ellison campaign is about. But it's also about the fact that right now our schools are in a very critical stage. Keith and I are co-chairing that referendum, and we need you to also turn out for that. And it's also about the fact that we've got to win this Senate race, and all these other things, and more than anything else, when you think about bringing voices to the table, Keith has taken his voice to make sure that people who've never voted before, who wouldn't think of coming to a room like this, will actually get to the polls, will actually have their voices heard. Even if they don't, he's going to be their representative. So As a political leader, he's inspirational to me. As a friend, he's inspirational to me. But just as a human being, I think this is the kind of person who we really want in politics. So on behalf of all of us in this room, no, okay, we won't do that. But please welcome our congressman and our great inspiration.
Fire marshal here?
I see nothing.
Now that I'm decorating myself, I'm like, it's all right, it's all up, right?
It's all up.
Well, thank you all for coming. And I just want you to know that our team, my voice is going. So we'll do the best I can. But I want you to know, Tom, I'm just so indebted. Thanks so much for doing this. Last year, we didn't even be here. But here we are this year all together, and so that's a beautiful thing. Thanks, Tom. Let's hear it for my man.
Yeah.
Food is delicious. Liberian food, you guys. Vicky? Right?
Yeah, Vicky!
Thanks, Kim.
What a good wife.
And also, I want to join RT in just thanking Kim and the kids and Isaiah and Jeremiah, my son Jeremiah, Elijah, Amira, where's she at? Way back. My son Jeremiah is down in Florida, because he's going to do a program called City Year, trying to improve the lives of urban communities down there in Miami. So that's what he's doing. But I just want to say, you know, it's just so amazing that we are right there, able to seize the moment and take our country in a direction that we've never, ever seen before. I believe we're in a moment now where the will of the American people is ready for not just change, but change in a way that we haven't seen before. A whole new level of unity we have never seen in American history, where we just shatter every false barrier between us and we unite as a national community and we spread that love around the world in tangible, concrete ways. You know, one of the things that we're working on now is something called the Global Marshall Plan. Yeah. There is 1 billion people in our country. I said country, but what I should have said is 1 billion people in our world who live on less than $1 a day. There's about 1.6 billion that live on less than $2 a day. And the fact is that we have the national will right now that says, you know, we can produce enough food in this world to make sure that people have enough to eat, have clean water. People can really make it. And here we are, again, the national will right here in America that says, you know what, the fact is that we've been working too hard for too long for flat wages, and we're going to take some of that productivity back and have some real economic justice for working people. You know, RT, I want to tell you, right now we're working on this thing called the Credit Card Holders Bill of Rights. And we are literally, we have folks, the banks are swarming all over Capitol Hill, and they're being told no. Because, you know, folks know that if you want to come back to Congress, you better vote for the people. This is a tremendous opportunity. You know, just last week, you know, we were dealing with this U.S. attorney scandal. We find out that, you know, after the independent group comes in and does all the evaluation, they find out that if you want to work for the federal government, people were getting questions like, well, how much money did you give to Republican candidates? What's your position on choice? How do you feel about gay rights? These kind of questions. You know, that reminds me of like the Soviet apparatchik kind of thing, right? Where you have to apply to some rigid political orthodoxy just to serve your country. But the people know it, and they feel it, and they're so ready to change it. And I just feel so gifted to be at this moment in history, all of us here together, being able to take our country in a whole new direction. You know, well, Frank, we can get people around, and we don't have to worry about leaving with the cars. You just leave them in the garage. We can move people around in a whole new way, cheaply, safely, affordably. What's that line that Gene taught us? Cheaper.
Cheaper, better for the environment.
Cheaper, better for the environment. Let's say it all together.
Cheaper, better for the environment. And more jobs.
And more jobs. And people are crying for this. Everybody's going green. I told them RT was green before all of you guys were. But the fact is that every mayor is out there pushing for this. Governors are. So we have a national will, and what we need is we need some unity, and we need some vision, and we have it in this room with all you guys coming together. And I'm not just talking about the electeds. I'm talking about the folks who put the hard work in. Ellen, I'm talking about like you. A vision for healthcare in our country for everybody. Served so many years as a nurse, and now as a person who's earned their retirement, is still giving back to our community every single day, helping us understand that the people need to be healed. Is that right? So the fact is, you guys, before my voice totally gives out, I just want to say that if I sat down and dreamed about, you know, this moment, you know, I don't know if the moment that I dream about would be as good as this one, because we are so ready, and it's all over the country. It's literally all over the world. Why would 200,000 Berliners show up to hear Barack Obama? Unless they're saying, man, you know, we're ready for a new deal. We're ready to cut this cake in a whole nother direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we got a cake to cut now that I'm talking about cake. And so I don't want to go on too long, but I just want to say this. In order for the vision, this vision of the beloved community coming together, where everybody counts and everybody matters. That's right. Comes together. We got a whole lot of work to do between right now and 8 o'clock on November what? 4th. That's right. And we need to do it so that we can see this vision through. This election will be won with a broad vision, but it's also going to be won with knocking on doors. And I'm telling you, we got a youth program in my campaign that I want to tell you about. Where's Simi at? Come on over here, young lady. When I met Simi, Simi was 19 years old. Now she's 20. And Simi is, you got to help her there? This is one of your street teamers? Simi runs a program where she has street teams, kids going out, just signing up voters, registering voters all the time. She's going to pull together a concert with Brother Ali, right? So y'all need to come to that one. Yeah. And so we're knocking on doors. We're not just going to University of Minnesota in Augsburg. We're going to the nail cosmetology schools. We're going to the taco schools. We're going to, if they're teaching folks how to flip burgers, we're there. We're into the high schools because we believe that 18-year-olds have a lot of power that they want to unleash. I'm serious. And we're not just stopping there. We're going everywhere we can go. We have an outreach program designed to reach people who are in the disability community. Isn't that right? And folks, let me just tell you, just because you cannot walk very well doesn't mean you can't think very well and can't vote very well, and that you don't want war to end in our country and don't want economic prosperity for the middle class. Just because you can't see doesn't mean you can't see that this Bush administration has ruined our country and attacked our civil rights. So the fact is, we are going where the people are going, and we need each one of you guys to lay it all out there between now and November 4th at 8 p.m. Keep on picking them up, keep on driving them to the polls. And I just want to tell you this one thing, because if you've done this, you know. But if you haven't, you may not know. Hashi, you know what I'm talking about. Somebody who's never voted, somebody who's been sitting on the political sideline of life, somebody who thinks, you know what, I'm just one person and it really doesn't matter what I think. When you get them to that poll and they go in there, Simi, and they cast that ballot, they feel a certain magic. And when you see the smile off their face and you help them make that ballot, you feel the magic too. So feel a little magic, you guys. Feel a little magic between right now and then. Our whole future depends on it, and it can be so good. So thank you all. God bless you all. I love you so incredibly much. Thanks a lot.